Have you ever met someone who was super jealous? Maybe it was your friend, maybe you were with someone who was super jealous, or maybe it was you and you don't actually know what it's like to experience being with someone or being around someone who is super jealous. And it's funny because I had a friend who was super jealous, but the thing is she was really pretty and she also had a great personality. So there was not really a reason why she should have been so jealous, but she really just couldn't help herself. And when you experience being around someone like that as a friend or as a partner, it's one of the most unattractive trait that a person can have, essentially. Because when you are acting like you're super jealous and you're super worried that someone's gonna cheat on you or whatever, what you're actually saying without saying it, what you're saying energetically, what you're really screaming to everybody else is that you are super deeply insecure and that there's something wrong with you and that you're basically not someone who is worth being with, or that you're not someone who people would want to be with. And because of that, that's why you act this way. And that isn't always true. Sometimes it's the furthest thing from the truth, but people can pick up your energy and the vibrations that you put out way more than they can pick up like what you're actually saying. So when you behave in this way, the message that you're constantly sending out is that you're not good enough, that there's something wrong with you, and that you're not someone that people would want to be around or should want to be around. And if you've ever known someone like this, like if you have a friend who's like this, or if you were with somebody who's like this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's almost like repulsive how strong it is, the need to kind of get away from this person, because you're like, I don't know, there's just something wrong, there's something off about their energy, and I don't like the way that it makes me feel, and I don't like being around them. And that's because you will more likely remember how somebody makes you feel than you will remember anything else about them. And if someone is deeply insecure and that's like the vibrations that they're putting out, it is very off-putting, it is very unattractive. In your mind, you're probably like, I don't want to see that person again, I don't want to be around them again. It's not a fun or pleasant experience. It's just very uncomfortable. Now, on the other hand, if you are that person, if you are that deeply insecure person who's putting out all of these negative energy and vibes, you might just be very confused. Like, you might just not understand why people don't seem to like you or why they don't want to be around you, because you don't realize what you're actually doing, and you don't realize that it's extremely unattractive and repulsive to most people. But it goes deeper. Like, you might look at someone like that and you might think, wow, they're so deeply insecure and I'm so like turned off by that and I don't want to be around them. But it's not that simple. Like, they're not just deeply insecure for no reason. There's a lot that goes into it. So for example, when I see someone who behaves in this way, immediately I feel like there's something from their upbringing or something from their past experience that led them to be this way. Maybe they were with somebody who cheated on them, or maybe growing up their parents had a really like terrible relationship and infidelity was like a big deal in their family. Because a lot of people, if they grew up in very like healthy relationships, like their household that they grew up in had healthy relationships and those are the examples that they saw growing up, then likely they're going to emulate that, and they're going to emulate like healthy patterns when it comes to relationships. Whereas on the other hand, if they grew up in an environment where things were like chaotic, where it was really negative or toxic, again, they might find themselves kind of reliving that pattern over and over again. So if you're somebody who is like this, then the question to ask yourself is, why am I like this? And maybe you can pinpoint like a previous relationship that led you to feel this way. Maybe someone cheated on you and that made you feel super insecure about yourself, and that's why you've kind of been replaying the same story, like the same tune over and over again. Or maybe it goes back to your childhood. Maybe it was like the relationships that you saw growing up around you, and that led you to believe that this is how life was because that's all you saw and experienced. The point is, if you want to turn that around, you really have to let go of these old stories. Maybe someone cheated on you, but if you keep hanging on to it and if you keep replaying it over and over again, the only person that you're gonna hurt is yourself. and you're basically continually hurting yourself because you'll just keep on living life screaming to everyone that you meet that you're deeply insecure, that there's something wrong with you, and that they should run away as fast as possible because there's nothing good here, there's nothing anybody would want here. So to turn that around, there's a lot of inner work, there's a lot of shadow work that needs to be done. You should probably sit down and journal about this, and really journal about like the event that led you here. You know, ask yourself, why do I feel this way? What happened that made me feel this way? And do these feelings and emotions like serve me, or are they continuing to hurt me every single day? And then when you kind of journal about something in this way, things just become really clear to you, and it makes it so much easier for you to release these negative emotions and these negative patterns that you keep replaying in your life. If you know someone, or if you yourself find that you attract the same kinds of people, the same kinds of relationship, and maybe your friend is always like, I don't know why, but I always attract the worst kinds of people. Whether it's subconscious or not, it's probable that you are looking for some kind of pattern. And this is how people end up in like the same kind of toxic relationship that's has the same exact patterns of toxicity. It's because it's what you're used to, and you basically like don't know anything else, and you think that's what's normal and that's what's right. So you might say, oh, I don't know why I keep attracting the same kinds of people. I guess that's just my type. That's what I'm attracted to. But really, it goes deeper than that. You're really just seeking out what feels familiar, because sometimes familiar feels right or feels safe, even when it's the opposite of that. And it takes realizing that, and realizing that you actually need to put yourself first in order for you to break out of these habits and to release these emotions and release these patterns. It's about putting yourself first, and it's about realizing that you actually do deserve better, and you deserve like a healthy, normal, loving, happy relationship. That actually is really difficult for people to understand and realize, especially when they are kind of caught up in the pattern. So maybe you would like try to help your friend, you would try to give her suggestions. Maybe you say, oh, I don't know, he seems like a nice guy, I don't think he would do that. But then whatever kind of solutions or suggestions you gave, immediately they were ready with like a reason why that wouldn't work. You know, maybe they would say like, oh yeah, I trust him, it's just everyone else I don't trust, or something along those lines. But whatever kind of external solutions that you give someone who is in this situation, or if it's you, whatever kind of external solution you seek, it doesn't work, because it has to truly come from within, and it has to come from a place of self-love and a place of realizing that you need to put yourself first, and understanding that you are worthy of love and you do deserve love, and letting go of the insecurities. And it's easier said than done. A lot of work, a lot of inner work, and a lot of shadow work goes into this process. It sounds very simple to say, but it is a lot. And some people, it takes them a really long time to kind of go through this process, to heal and to actually let go of the negative stories and the negative sort of beliefs that they had. And some people will go through their whole life never really getting there, never really having that realization, or even if deep down they kind of do know and understand, they can never bring themselves to actually break out of the negative patterns, because it's actually a difficult thing to do. But understand, no matter what the situation is, what you project to the world, what you project to everyone else, is all that they see. So even if you feel like deeply insecure inside, but you project confidence, that's all anyone's going to see. And eventually, if you kind of do that long enough, you practice it long enough, you do become more confident, and you do realize that, hey, I prefer living in this state of feeling confident and feeling secure and good about who I am. And you realize that that state is preferable to feeling insecure and feeling negative about yourself all the time. So eventually you will start to take on this new identity and these new feelings about yourself, and it starts to become who you are. And you can take this so far, to the point where you're so confident and you're so sure of yourself that you begin to attract so many people, and you become so much more attractive to the people around you. Even though physically like nothing has changed, you're basically exactly the same. But the change in your energy and the change in your confidence is something that everyone will be able to pick up. Because again, people will pick up that stuff way more than they will the little things about you. Like if you lost 5 pounds, honestly, most people are not gonna know. No one's gonna care except you. Maybe you got a new haircut. most people are not gonna know, they're not gonna care. But when you change your energy and you change the vibes that you're putting out and you change the way that you make people feel, that is so much more impactful if you're trying to become more attractive, if you're trying to attract somebody else. That's really the core of it. That's the key to attraction. Okay, that's it for today's little video. I hope that you found value in this. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!